What's up, it's Mr. Kent here, and I'm here to teach you some math. Today, we're going to use the number line, hopefully you've seen my number line video, to add and subtract. Hopefully you've seen my number line video adding and subtracting. But now we're going to use positive, which is the plus sign, and the negative sign. Integers are those numbers, like whole numbers, like 1, 2, 3, 4, or negative 1, 2, 3, 4, that you find on the number line. Why do you need to know this? Well, it's an advanced usage of the number line, which is very important. It's going to come in handy down the road. Also, it comes into play when we use or start working with algebraic equations. Now, don't worry about the word now, but you will be using it when you start doing equations. And hey, for high school, you got to know this stuff. All right, so let's get down to it and learn how to use the number line to add and subtract positive and negative integers. All right, now I just abbreviated it here. NL means number line from now on. Positive and negative, or add, subtract. And in parentheses, I put the signs to represent the positive and negative integers. All right, here I want to help you visualize or help you see what we're doing when we talk about positive and negative integers. What I did here is I took regular math problems like 4 minus 1, 2 minus 2, 3 plus 1, so that you can understand what happens with these signs, all right? Remember, or I don't know if you know this, but in electricity, in magnetism, positive and negative are attracted to each other. When they're attracted to each other, then you could say maybe they come together and then they go off into the sunset like a happy couple or something. So let's look at this. I have 4 positives over here because any time that I do not have a sign in front, that means it's positive. And usually it's out 2 on the left side. We wouldn't have nothing in here. But here we go. 4, which is a positive 4, so I have 4 positive signs minus a negative sign. So this one represents that. I have a minus sign here because that's kind of the same thing. It's minus 1, a negative. And if these two attach to each other, you kind of clean them out. And what do you have left? You have 3 positive signs. Okay? So that's one way of looking at it. Let's try another one. How about a 2 minus a 2? Well, I have 2 positive signs here, and I have this 2 that represents 2 negative signs because I have the minus right here. So, if each one canceled each other out, they would disappear because they get together and then they go off into the sunset. And that's why I have 0. How about a 3 plus 1? Well, I have 3 positive signs, and I have another positive sign. So this is a little bit different from subtraction. This is basic adding. But since I have now 1, 2, 3, 4 positive signs, then I'm just going to make that a 4. And therefore, 3 plus 1 equals 4. Now we start to get into a new concept where we subtract numbers that are bigger than the first number. Okay? Here we go. It's easy, but we're going to use the number line to figure this out. I just want to help you visualize it. Here we have a positive 1. Here we have 4 negatives. Okay? So if I have 4 negatives, because this is 1 minus 4, a positive 1 minus 4, so I take the negative signs and I draw 4 of them just so that I can see it. These two get together, they run off and get married, and look what we have left. We have 3 negative signs left. Therefore, 1 minus a 4 equals a negative 3. Okay, it doesn't equal 3, it equals a negative 3. Let's try this one. Here we have 2 negative signs minus 2. Okay? Well, they're the same signs, so they don't really get together and run off. It's just like adding. We're going to have 1, 2, 3, 4. We're going to have 4 negative signs. Or we would say a -2 minus a 2 equals -4. All right, let's try the last one. Here we have a negative number in front plus 1. So we have -3 plus 1. Well, since it's a negative number, I'm going to draw the negative signs here. I have 3 of them. And I'm going to add 1. So again, what this does, 2 of them attract. Positive and negative always attract. They get together. They fly away together. And we are left with 1, 2. 2, but it's -2 because we have 2 negative signs left. So -3 plus 1 equals a -2. Okay? Now, that's the visualization of what we're doing here, but now let's use the number line to figure this out. It may be a little bit easier. All right, here I have some problems, just like the ones I had on the other board. What we want to do is use this number line to figure out the answer. We're going to start off with a +1, because remember, if it doesn't have anything in front of it, it's a positive. +1 is right here. We have -5. Well, that negative sign tells us to go toward the negative side. Because remember, there's 2 sides on a number line. A negative side, where all the integers are negative, and a positive side, where all the integers are positive. And then we have 0 in the middle. All right? So we're going to start off at 1, and we're going to go toward the negative side 5 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Since I went back 5 spaces, my answer to the first one is -4. Okay? Let's do the next one. We have a -1. So let's say we're going to start off with -1. And I have a -3. So the minus tells us we're going that way, not this way. We're going toward the negative side. We're going to go 3 times. 1, 2, 3. And look at that. It's actually the same answer. We just got to it a different way. -1 minus 3 equals a -4. Let's try the next one. We have -2. So that means we're going to start at -2. Right there. But instead of going to the negative side like we have with these, the minus sign, it says +3, which means we're going to go toward the positive side 3 times. So we start off here, we're going to go this way, 1, 2, and 3. Our answer there is a +1. We don't have to put a sign in front of it because it's a positive and we can leave it blank. But it's definitely not negative since we passed over the 0 and we ended up on this side. So -2 plus 3 equals 1. And for the last one, gotta get my black marker here. Last one, we start at -4. So let's find -4. We're over here where all the other ones ended up. And we're going to add 1. So that means we're going to go to the positive side only 1 time. And there we go. 1 time. I finished at -3. So automatically, my answer is -3. Now look at this. Even though I went positive, I only went 1 space. I started at -4. So really, I only got 1 number bigger, and I ended up at -3. And there's your answer right there. Now, let's have you try it on your own. Okay, remember, we are using the number line to add or subtract positive and negative integers. This is a pause and play section. So, I want you to pause it in a second. Write these answers down on your note page. Try to write the number line with the amount of integers that you need to figure out the answer to these problems. Okay? You can go ahead and pause it now and we'll check it here in a moment. Alright, and welcome back. Hopefully you hit pause and worked out these problems. Let's check your answers. I'm going to quickly draw a number line. 0 in the middle, 1, 2, 3, negative 1, 2, 3. This tells me to start at negative 2. So I'm going to start it here at negative 2. I'm going to go to the positive side 3 times. 1, 2, 3. I end up at 1, so my answer is positive 1, or just 1. All right, let's try the next one. I draw my number line, 0 in the middle, 1, 2, 3, 4. I don't know exactly how many I need, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw out a couple. And 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's do a negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4. All right, where am I starting out? I'm starting out at positive 3. It tells me to go minus 2, which means I'm going toward the negative, only 2 times. 1, 2. I don't go all the way to negative 2. I just go 2 times. And my answer is 1. Now you may have understood that the answer was 1 just because it said 3 minus 2. But what I wanted you to see is how we got there. Now let's do this one. I have a 0, 1, 2, 3, and a negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5. All right. I'm starting at negative 2. And it says minus 3. So negative 2 minus 3. Well, I'll have to go that way. How many times? 3 times. 1, 2, 3. This is where I stop. I circle it. My answer is negative 5. So minus 2 minus 3 equals negative 5. And that is how you use the number line to add or subtract positive and negative integers. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you next time.